Thursday, October 12th. Good evening. This is News 360. Thank you for joining us. I am Aisha Yakubu Hale.
And I am Noble Crosbian, and these are the top stories of the bulletin tonight.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Seasonal influenza outbreak hits eastern and central regions, while Greater Accra is on high alert after confirming 42 cases.
Also tonight, Ghana Law School class of 2000 marks 25 years at the bar, with the group highlighting sacrifice, discipline and integrity behind their success.
We will visit Germany, an island in the Kwewu-Afram Plains North District of the Eastern Region, where the future of teenage girls is at risk due to poverty and exploitation.
Much later in international news, Cameroonians vote in election likely to extend tenure of world's oldest head of state, 92-year-old President Paul Biya. Thank you so much for joining us. We're live also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. Let's get interactive there. Let's start the bulletin from here.
The future of many pupils, especially teenage girls at Germany, a remote settlement on the Dwarf Island in the Kwewu-Afram Plains North District of the Eastern Region, hangs in the balance. These girls remain vulnerable to sexual exploitation, with some dropping out of school and being lured into relationships by the promise of money or fish from fishermen and marijuana farmers.
The Dwarf Island is home to several scattered villages where fishing and farming form the backbone of the local economy. It also harbors one of Ghana's largest marijuana farms, usually cultivated by male school dropouts. Germany is one of the settlements populated mainly by fisherfolk who migrated from Bato and Mepe in the North Town district. Here, education is difficult. Most of the youth have dropped out of school. One teacher handles kindergarten 1 through class 5 in a multi-grade classroom, making effective teaching almost impossible. The only teacher in the community corroborated the issue, confirming that teenage girls have become easy targets for sexual exploitation by fishermen and marijuana farmers.
Teenage pregnancy is very common here because poverty rate is also very high. So as a result of that, most of the children get pregnant at their early stages, especially with the fishermen, because some of the parents cannot afford their exercise books, their pens and pencils. So as a result of that, when a man comes to deceive them that I'll be supporting you, then through that the children get pregnant.
Last year alone, 5 teenage girls were forced out of school after becoming pregnant. Opinion leaders in the community are striving to protect the girls, but it has not come easy. The daughters of the chief and some elders have all fallen prey.
As a chief and SMC chairman, he is not happy about girl child getting pregnant and not completing school. It is actually a disturbing situation for him to see his own kids getting pregnant and dropping out of school.
2 of the teenage daughters of the Zibito, the Sioux father, have become mothers. The elder daughter dropped out at age 15 after getting pregnant and is now 19 years. The younger one is among the 5 girls who left school last year due to pregnancy. She revealed that the man who impregnated her lured her with fish and money.
He has been giving me 100 cedis and sometimes 50 cedis daily. He is a fisherman, so he also makes fish available for our domestic dish.
She also explained that her colleagues were lured with proceeds from marijuana. Exchanging fish for sexual favors has become the norm, drawing many young girls away from school. The practice is not limited to inland fishing areas. It's equally common in coastal communities across the country. In the case of the young girl, her mother expressed deep disappointment.
I wanted my daughter to go to school to become a nurse, but her dreams have now been shattered.
Despite the GS policy that allows teenage mothers to return to school, she refuses to go back, citing the lack of teachers as a major discouragement. Statistics from the Kwewu Afram Plains North Education Directorate indicate that 35 girls dropped out of school in the 2024-2025 academic year due to teenage pregnancy. However, 5 of them came back to write the Basic Education Certificate examination. Chief Inspector of Schools at Afram Plains North, Dawood Adamu, described the situation as alarming, especially in areas with weak law enforcement presence.
It's very, very disturbing because they are the future generation. So if their dreams are being shut at this particular moment, what future are we going to have?
He emphasized that implementing the rural teacher allowance could help attract and retain teachers in deprived communities, an essential step towards curbing the cycle of teenage exploitation.
We are fighting that the deprived area allowance, I'm sure if it is being implemented fully to the latter, most teachers would even accept posting to such particular community, because he knows at the end of the day, when he even comes to the village, the island or such places, without even doing anything at all, with that percentage alone would make him stay for a while.
Until stronger interventions reach such isolated communities, the cycle of exploitation will persist, leaving the promise of education for many girls forever adrift. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Dwarf Island, Eastern Region.
Quite a revelation there from Stanley Nibleu. But to some other stories tonight, the Vice President, Professor Jane Nano-Pokwajaman, has reaffirmed government's resolve to end illegal mining, noting new measures are being put in place to ban mining in forest reserves and river bodies. The Vice President said this when she met with the Ghanaian community in Belgium, and Evelyn Tingma is there and has filed this report.
Community in Belgium was part of the official visit to Brussels for the 2025 Global Gateway Forum. The chairman of the Ghana Council in Belgium, Kweku Boama, raised concerns during the engagement, including high import duty charges at Ghana's ports, restrictions on certain food products entering Europe, and issues related to labor export.
The major concern for Ghanaians in diaspora is the excessive duty at our house. The president promised during the campaign tour that the new NDC government is going to work on it. So please take this issue to the cabinet for us. These vegetables and other foodstuffs are not allowed in European markets because they have too much pesticides. And this is blocking a big market for our agricultural development.
Other concerns were raised regarding illegal mining and youth indiscipline. The Vice President, Professor Nana Nano-Pokwajaman, highlighted government initiatives such as the Jumira program and the 24-hour economy policy. She reaffirmed the government's resolve to end illegal mining.
We are working towards banning mining in water bodies. We've been mining gold forever. How come all of a sudden all our waters were polluted? The water sources are normally in our reserve portions. And that's the reason why those areas are reserved forests. Now, when you give that to some who can even will it to his family, you all know what I'm talking about. A bill is being prepared to reverse what we saw and to ensure that the people are moved out of these areas and properly placed.
Professor Nana Jino-Pukwachiman assured the people of the government's commitment to ensuring fair import duty charges at the ports, as well as introducing guidelines to protect professionals who travel abroad for work. Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs James Jachi-Kwesen also addressed the gathering.
For the longest, 88 till 2016, next year issue 88 licenses. 2017 till this date, 2,167 licenses were issued within 8 years. So some people took it personally as a business, and unfortunately, the majority of them were government leaders. We have a measure in place now. We would restore our water bodies. We are not going to issue licenses that are random as it is. We are also reviewing those licenses to make sure those who are not deserving are removed from it. We'll also be prosecuting some people, because at the end of the day, it's a damage to the whole country.
The Vice President's meeting with the Ghanaian community in Belgium is a reflection of government's commitment to engaging with its diaspora and promoting national development.
Meanwhile, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources Emmanuel Ama Kofi-Boah says a new LI has been prepared and will replace the previous one. In an interview with Hot Issues host Kemini Amano, he stated that the new LI, which is expected to be approved by Parliament when sitting resumes, will bolster the fight against illegal mining.
In a move aimed at intensifying the crackdown on illegal mining, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources Emmanuel Ama Kofi-Boah has revealed that a new legislative instrument, LI 2501, is set to replace the current LI 2462. Speaking on Hot Issues with host Kemini Amano, the minister explained that the new regulation is designed to close loopholes and enhance accountability in the mining sector.
I'm very happy to tell you that within 9 months, we are 90% complete in terms of basically changing completely our laws, the mining law at 703. We've traveled, learned the bread of the country, engaged the stakeholders, and fundamental changes that allow us first to empower our chiefs and to hold them responsible by law is going to be in place in the new proposals that we have. We are also going to try to make sure we change the system. It's not only large-scale companies who should be held responsible when they fail to do reclamation. Small-scale mining companies must also be held responsible by making sure they put up a bond.
Emmanuel Ama Kofi-Boah described illegal mining as a festering canker driven by influence and affluence that continues to undermine environmental protection efforts and expose the lack of political will to enforce existing laws.
It is very well known that this canker that is eating us up as a country is being festering because people who have a lot of money, people who are well connected, are always trying to use the system, okay, including politicians. But this is the difference. I've said that the difference between the last 8 years and now is because the stakes for our country's survival is not going to be compromised by anybody. So this is the political will that is driving this effort. And I'm saying that we are committed to it.
LI 2501 is expected to be approved when Parliament resumes sitting.
Let's bring you some more stories from the Dwarf Island as we're going to Bojikope, a community on the Dwarf Island in the Kwewa Fram Plains North District, where the only basic school risks closure due to a lack of teachers. Stanley Niebler reports that pupils can be out of school for weeks whenever the sole teacher falls ill or travels outside the jurisdiction.
Education plays a critical role in the development of every nation. This justifies calls by civil society organizations compelling government to prioritize investment in the sector. Successive governments over the years have made substantial investments in the sector just to address prevailing challenges. However, wide gap still exists. I am Stanley Niebler. I'm embarking on a voyage to the Dwarf Island, where the islanders, who seem to have been forgotten by duty bearers, struggle to access basic education.
The journey to the Dwarf Island is a challenging one, a dangerous voyage across rough waters and rugged terrain. From Sidikope, the news team continued for nearly 2 hours, dangerously meandering through narrow, uneven path. Eventually, the isolated village of Bojikope appeared in sight, a forgotten community that only seems to receive attention during political campaign seasons, where their votes matter. Education here is a daunting task. Teachers are unavailable and learning is virtually paralyzed. During our visit on a mid-Monday morning, school was not in session. The only teacher who doubles as a headmaster handles all 8 classes while performing administrative duties. Whenever he travels to the district capital for official assignments, people stay home. That was the situation the news team met on arrival. Parents say their children remain at home for days, sometimes weeks, whenever the teacher falls ill or leaves the island.
And the teacher comes from Kufuria, and so before settling here, so there are times that he must also go back, maybe going back home or going for workshops. As soon as he is not around, then it means that the school should be on holiday till he returns.
Other parents also urge for swift redress to sustain the children's education. Back in the community, pupils had turned the school break into leisure time. While some played around, others gathered at a local entertainment center to watch movies. Teenage girls who once dreamed of transforming their lives through education are gradually losing hope. 14-year-old MFA, a class 5 pupil, says 3 of her friends who dropped out because of teacher shortages have already become mothers. But she insists she will not give up on her dream. MFS senior, Ajovi, who also expressed frustration, saying the persistent teacher deficit is waning their interest in education.
Teachers back. Ya for classroom. My work ya bob breaker. Yes, I'm cosa. Bebo close ya coffee. And see school we con ye den ahodi denes ye pese ye nya was school ye nya hodi ni was school.
Bojikope, like many communities on the Dwarf Island, faces an uncertain future if educational neglect continues. District authorities acknowledge the concerns of the islanders, but say the situation is compounded by broader challenges.
So if you're able to recruit more teachers from the same district, because we have a lot of them who have completed diploma in basic education, degree in basic education, who are from this particular terrain. So such people, they are already familiar with the terrain. So posting them to the island will not be a problem. But when you are bringing somebody or recruiting and posting somebody from Accra, Kumasi, Tamale, who have never even seen a canoe before, so such a person, he comes and he's scared. So he will do everything possible not to come.
The district chief executive for Kwewu Afram Plains South, Moses Tangbe, says government is aware of the issue and plans to address it, but wants the Ghana Education Service to first fill the teacher vacancies.
In 2012, we were able to put up 28 completed schools under the GET fund in Afram Plains South before we left. At the same time, President John Dramani Mahama gave us E-block completed admitted students. So I need to commend them. For education, our major challenge now is inadequate teachers.
The return journey from the Dwarf Island was harrowing. The news team navigated treacherous path in the dark. Heavy rains had made the road slippery, nearly trapping us on the island. Volunteers who had guided the news team struggled through the mud as motorbikes broke down on the soggy trail. Soaked and exhausted, we pressed on, eventually crossing the Afram River to safety. The challenges endured by the news team pale in comparison to what residents of Bojikope experience daily. Their story is a reminder that access to education, a basic right, remains a distant dream for many children in Ghana's remote island communities. Until teachers are posted to Bojikope and other island communities facing similar challenges, children like Emefa and Ajovi will continue to fight an uphill battle for the future they deserve. For Ghana to attain the Sustainable Development Goal 4, which aims to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by 2030, more must be done to improve infrastructure and ensure equity. Stanley Nibley, TV3 News, Dwarf Island, Eastern Region.
Let's now turn our attention to some health issues. The lack of a dedicated maternity block coupled with inadequate beds has compelled management of the St. Anne's Hospital in Damongo to admit patients to the floor. Approximately 10 to 12 patients are admitted to the floor on a daily basis, which according to management is derailing efforts at achieving zero maternal health mortality.
Anne's Catholic Hospital in Damongo, formerly known as West Gonja Hospital, is a primary healthcare facility operated by the Catholic Church under the Christian Health Association of Ghana, CHAG. The hospital serves as the biggest referral center in the western part of the Savannah region, with various specialties including emergency, maternity, surgery, and dental care. However, inadequate infrastructure has been a major challenge affecting quality healthcare delivery, despite interventions by government and other partners. The absence of a dedicated maternity block, combined with insufficient beds, is adversely affecting maternal and child care.
This maternity block you see right behind me originally was designed to serve as the theater of the St. Anne's Catholic Hospital here in Damongo. Now, as a result of the inadequate infrastructure here at the facility, management have been compelled to convert this into a maternity block.
Pregnant women and mothers lie on the floor.
The bed capacity of our ward currently is 16. But if we happen to admit more than the 16 clients, we have mattresses that we put on the floor so that we will admit the client onto the floor. And starting from last month, it's like our admissions have skyrocketed. So most of the time, whenever you enter the ward, you see that we have clients on the floor. Sometimes we can even admit and even get someone on the stretcher or even on the bench.
Patients and their relatives lament the situation is frustrating.
In fact, I brought my patient this afternoon. And when we came, they told us that the beds were full. So we have to check on the floor. And as you can see, lying on the floor is not hygienic. And the patients don't feel comfortable when they are lying on the floor. People pass around, and you can see pregnant women, they are in pain. So we want the government to come out and build a bigger maternity ward for us so that our people can have comfort when they come to deliver.
I was here for a while and had no bed. I got this because someone was discharged. We hope a bigger place is built for us.
Medical Superintendent of the hospital, Nelson Agbado, laments the lack of a dedicated maternity block is affecting healthcare services.
Because we don't have any facility for that. And so sometimes it's so disheartening that a patient, a pregnant woman has come in a critical condition and then you don't have a space. But we cannot also sack or say people should go elsewhere, because when you say they should go, where would they go? All the facilities that they can go are far away. Some of them do not even have the means.
In April this year, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health, during a visit to the St. Anne's Hospital in Damongo, emphasized the need for the government to ensure equitable distribution of resources across all health facilities. They stressed that this should apply regardless of whether the facilities are government-owned or managed by other organizations such as Christian Health Association of Ghana, CHAG.
And when it comes to
quality healthcare delivery. He believes that resources should be distributed equitably without any discrimination. And so we believe and we trust in his leadership that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will do very well to bridge this gap.
Ghana has a hospital bed deficit with a ratio of approximately 0.9 beds per 1,000 people, which is significantly below the World Health Organization's recommendation of 5 beds per 1,000 people.
Because the client is lying on the floor, in serving drugs, you have to squat near the client to actually serve the drugs to the client. Sometimes if you want to listen to the fetal heart rate of the client, you have to either squat near the client so that you'll be able to listen to the fetal heart rate and check the fetal heart rate as well. Then sometimes if you want to assess the client, you have to help the client walk to the labor ward before you can actually assess the client.
Christopher Mwako, TV3 News, St.
And now, still on health-related stories, a seasonal influenza outbreak has been reported in parts of the country, with the eastern and central regions experiencing an outbreak of the H1N1 influenza subtype. Now, TV3 News gathers that the Greater Accra region is also on high alert, with health authorities closely monitoring the situation, as the region has already confirmed 42 cases of H3N2 influenza subtype.
The outbreak is caused by the H1N1 and H3N2 subtypes of the influenza A virus. These seasonal influenzas occur annually, typically during the cold half of the year, and can spread rapidly in overcrowded areas. The virus spreads mainly through respiratory droplets when infected persons cough, sneeze, or talk. The Greater Accra region has confirmed 42 cases of the H3N2 subtype, and health authorities are working to ensure all suspected cases are picked up early, while the eastern and central regions have recorded an outbreak of the H1N1.
I cannot speak for national, but what I know is yesterday there was a meeting that some regions are having H1N1, specifically central region and I think eastern region. But for us in Greater Accra, we do not have any outbreak in any of the schools. What we have is about 42 confirmed cases looking at the past 2 weeks from our sentinel sites. We have sentinel sites, if I should put it that way, that every week we pick samples of suspected influenza cases to Noguchi for investigation. So out of that, Ayawasu East and Okankwe North reported some confirmed cases, but not specifically H1N1.
The Greater Accra Regional Disease Control Surveillance Officer has assured that the Regional Health Directorate is ready to handle any outbreak with all facilities on standby.
Even just this Monday, we distributed the sample containers so that in case they suspect, they can be able to take the samples to Noguchi for investigation. And apart from that, we are also doing education, because looking at the weather, this is the prime time that we always have a lot of the cases. And I would say we are safe per the data that we have, but we are also doing surveillance ongoing to ensure that in case anybody, you don't take it as the common catarrh or the common flu, but you report at the nearest health facility. And when you go, our people, the staff are ready to take the samples and do the necessary investigation for us to know what we are actually dealing with.
Health authorities are urging citizens to take precautions to prevent the spread of the virus. To protect yourself and your loved ones from the flu, one is advised to practice good hygiene. Use hand sanitizers where soap and water are not available. Avoid close contact with anyone showing symptoms of the flu, and stay home if unwell.
In an age where social media often paints the law as a life of glamour and prestige, members of the 2000 class of the Ghana School of Law say the real story lies far deeper in years of sacrifice, discipline, and integrity. 25 years after their call to the bar, they gathered in Accra to celebrate not the spotlight, but the silent grind behind their success.
It's been 25 years of service to the law, to justice, to the nation and humanity. Members of the 2000-year group of the Ghana School of Law gathered in Accra to celebrate their Silver Jubilee, a moment to reflect, reconnect and give thanks. Justice David Kwabena Adadeboafo of the Court of Appeal said milestone is not just about personal success, but collective perseverance.
There's a lot of achievement within the group, a lot of success within the group, and we felt that it was necessary to celebrate that and enjoy the moment. It's 25 years of hard work, of difficulty, of struggle, and of life.
Manager of the Accra Court Complex, Patricia Afale Datson, emphasized that the journey has been one of discipline and integrity, values that continue to define the profession.
Success is not by sudden flight. It is by hard work, grit, and determination. Most of these young ones, they are all in a hurry to make money. And yeah, you can understand to a certain extent because the cost of legal education is very expensive these days. So they are in a hurry to make money. But it is not about money. We've been taught in school to understand that the practice of law is a calling. So there are times that you would have to render services pro bono without earning anything. And that should be your contribution to society.
As the profession evolves, the seasoned lawyers had a message for the younger generation entering the legal field, a reminder that the glamour often seen on social media is far from the reality of practice.
There's not as they perceive it to be. They're interested in the social media pictures and all that. It's nothing. Just a day. That day is just a day. The hard work lies ahead. They're going to be tested morally. They're going to be tested intellectually. They're going to be tested in so many forms and ways. Law practice is not an easy thing. It's not a glamorous thing. It's not a money-making venture. You have to work hard and graft, and they have to be humble enough to listen to their seniors, to learn from chambers, and not branch out of their own without being in their raw stage. It's like an apprenticeship. You have to learn that work. Some of us stayed in chambers for over 10 years before we actually even thought of leaving chambers to do other things. So they have to work hard.
For many in the 2000 batch, their 25-year journey stands as a testament for perseverance and dedication, proof that the practice of law remains at its core a service to humanity. This celebration not only honored their professional achievement, but also reaffirmed their commitment to mentoring the next generation. It also reminded young lawyers that while the robes may symbolize prestige, the true essence of law is found in service, humility, and integrity.
And now this is a second call to the bar witnessed the highest number of persons with disabilities joining the legal fraternity since its inception. For George and Benjamin, both visually impaired applicants, the crowning moment for their struggles was finally earning their certificate. And here is the story.
George Amoa was not born blind, but at the age of 18 years, his life would take a drastic turn. He, however, did not let that affect his dream of pursuing law.
When I lost my sight, I realized that actually things will not be easy for me, looking at the fact that in Africa, disability has always become a challenge. So I decided that, okay, why then won't I allow my disability one way or the other to motivate me and achieve something one way or the other, so that at least, if not for anything, I'll make my family proud, especially my mom.
The journey of a law student at the Ghana School of Law comes with its own challenges, and as a student with a disability, that burden was even heavier.
During my 2 years at Ghana School of Law, one of my biggest challenge was accommodation, and it nearly affected my, my performance, because it got to a point I was really struggling to get a place to lay my head. Yeah, but academically, I think the challenge was that, getting books is not easy. Yeah, getting books as a visually impaired, because you have to get all the books in soft copy, and it's not allowed for you to just buy the book and be scanning them every time. So it wasn't easy at all, getting the documents every day and learning it. But at least we find a way out.
For Benjamin Ejapong, after overcoming all the obstacles, the sky has become the starting point.
The next step, of course, is pupillage, and I'm hoping that afterwards I will get into company and corporate law. I'm hoping to get into politics, and maybe one day, who knows, maybe the next Attorney General or even Chief Justice is speaking to you today. So yes, no one knows tomorrow. So the sky is just a starting point.
4 visually impaired persons and 1 physically challenged individual, totaling 5, were called to the bar at the 62nd ceremony on October 10.
We're going to the northern region now. Motorists are required to stop at zebra crossings to allow pedestrians to cross safely. However, some motorists often ignore this road traffic regulation, leaving pedestrians to risk their lives to just cross. My colleague Nadra Mohammed has been exploring the dangers pedestrians face in Tamale when crossing at zebra lines.
These black and white strips are meant to ensure safety of pedestrians. They are meant to signal drivers to stop. But in Tamale, the northern regional capital, and in many other cities and towns across Ghana, zebra crosses have lost their meaning as many motorists speed past without care. Motorists in Tamale continue to ignore these zebra crosses, forcing pedestrians, including school children and the elderly, to risk their lives while crossing busy roads. According to the Road Traffic Regulation 2012 LI 2180, a driver who fails to give way to a pedestrian at a zebra crossing commits an offense and is liable upon summary conviction to a fine. Despite clear traffic laws, compliance remains low, raising questions about road safety awareness and enforcement in Tamale and other parts of the country. At the zebra crossing near Tamale taxi rank, people wait patiently, but vehicles rarely stop.
For some pedestrians, crossing roads in Tamale, it's a daily struggle and a gamble between life and death.
Rauda Alidu is a student of Northern School of Business. She spent several minutes waiting to cross at the zebra crossing.
Small kids cannot cross the road because the motorists don't respect the zebra crossing.
She hopes authority will intensify education.
I'm pleading with the authority to maybe inform the one riding the motorists to educate them to know the value of zebra crossing.
While pedestrians blame drivers, some motorists say fault lies with poor road markings and lack of education. Yakubu Moses, a driver, stressed the need for both drivers and pedestrians to understand and respect road signs to prevent accidents.
It's lack of education. Those people that are to cross, they don't know. They can be standing somewhere. They don't want to cross. And when the car is about to cross, they run and come inside.
Superintendent Richard Odate is the officer in charge of the Police Motor Traffic and Transport Department, MTTD, in the Northern Region.
If you are standing by the zebra crossing, if your feet is not on the white and black, it's assumed you are not ready to cross. But once you have your feet on that black and white, means you are ready to cross. And for that matter, any vehicle that is getting closer needs to stop.
The Northern Regional Director of the National Road Safety Authority, Abdullah Ibawa Gamson, maintains that Tamale has good pedestrian facilities such as zebra crossing, but many have taken over by hawkers, riders and beggars. He added that many drivers ignore zebra crosses, showing indiscipline and violating traffic laws.
There are a number of road users who don't respect the right of pedestrians to cross the road. You try to even hit the pedestrians and kill them. That is indiscipline. That is recklessness, and the Road Traffic Act frowns on that.
In the first half of 2025, the National Road Safety Authority reported 1,301 pedestrian knockdowns across the country. The figure represents 6.9% increase compared to the same period in 2024. Drivers, pedestrians and authorities alike must work together to respect traffic rules and create safe streets for all.
And now, the Veteran Association of Ghana has over 20,000 members from the Ghana Armed Forces, but it lacks proper healthcare facility for the members. And the members have called for the state and the general public to support addressing challenges of ex-servicemen.
The Veterans Association of Ghana, VAC, has over 20,000 members made up of retired personnel from the Ghana Armed Forces, the former Gold Coast Army, the war veterans who fought in the First and Second World Wars. A major source of funding for the association is its annual Poppy Appeal, where funds are raised through public patronage of the symbolic poppy flower, making the appeal at a military concert to launch this year's fundraising campaign. Deputy Defense Minister Ernest Broja Jemfi stated that every citizen owns a duty to assist veterans.
The challenges facing our veterans today are enormous, from housing and healthcare to general welfare. This is why the Poppy Appeal remains so vital. It allows us as a people to give back to those who gave us so much. Every cedi donated supports important work of the Veterans Administration Ghana in providing healthcare, welfare, dignified living conditions for our ex-servicemen and women.
He emphasized that the self-sacrifice, gallantry, and patriotism displayed by veterans during the world wars should not be forgotten, as their actions helped secure the peace and freedom Ghanaians enjoy today. At the launch, leaders of the Veterans Association expressed concern about the general lack of awareness surrounding the poppy symbol, particularly among the youth.
We veterans always answered the call of duty, even at the peril of our lives. Today, it is your turn to answer our call by ensuring that we, our families, and the communities around us have access to comprehensive and dignified health care.
They encourage the public to contribute supporting the cause by wearing the poppy and contributing to the welfare of veterans. This year's Poppy Day will be observed on November 11.
Also, former Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral retired Issa Yakubu, is calling for the establishment of a Ministry of the Blue Economy to replace the current Ministry of Fisheries. Speaking to TV3 at a training on maritime security, a former Ghana Navy boss warned that Africa's weak ocean governance threatens economic growth.
Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral retired Issa Yakubu underscored the importance of the Gulf of Guinea to Africa's trade, security and sustainable development.
The blue economy is not only about fish. We've talked about shipping, where international trade is carried out at sea, as well as oil and gas. And we are now talking about seabed mining. And so a lot, including our data cables, all the internet we get, most of it is through cables that are on the seabed. We call them undersea cables. All these have to be protected.
According to the former Chief of Naval Staff, the Gulf of Guinea's economic significance cannot be overstated. The region accounts for an estimated 240 billion in annual trade, with over 80% of Ghana's exports valued at approximately 18 billion as of August 2025, passing through its waters. Despite this, maritime security, he said, continues to receive limited policy attention, leaving the corridor vulnerable to piracy, illegal fishing, and trafficking.
Bring the blue economy sectors together and make it a ministry rather than just being a commission, so that all the agencies that have something to do with the blue economy will be brought together for better coordination and to work with same policies under the same ministry. So I am advocating for a blue economy ministry, or at least move the commission to the office of the president, so that the coordination can be done at a level higher than one ministry.
The workshop was organized by Enhanced Maritime Action in the Gulf of Guinea in collaboration with the Gulf of Guinea Maritime Institute, with support from Expertise France, to train journalists and media practitioners on maritime security, safety, and the blue economy in the Gulf of Guinea.
And now, TV3's Upper East Regional Correspondent Castro Senyala has been named the overall Best Journalist of the Year at the 4th Upper East Regional Ghana Journalists Association Awards held on Friday, October 10 this year. Now, Senyala's outstanding investigative work, particularly his report on the abandonment of the Palugu multipurpose dam project, earned widespread acclaim for provoking urgent public discourse and prompting renewed government attention to the stalled initiative. Also, his courageous and ethically grounded reporting on security issues, especially the protracted Boko conflict, further cemented his position as a leading voice in regional journalism. In addition to the top honor, Senyala claims 2 other awards: the Best Conflict and Security Journalist of the Year and the Best Good Governance and Accountability Journalist of the Year. Now, Castro Senyala is known for his courageous report in conflict zones, especially Boko, where he works closely with state security agencies, including the Ghana Armed Forces and the Ghana Police Service. In 2024, he was recognized nationally as the Best Crime and Court Journalist of the Year at the 28th GJA Awards. At the regional level, he has won several awards, including Best Journalist for Security, Environment, Agriculture, Gender and Disability.
Congratulations to Castro. Well done. Now, you know, here at TV3, you can always have your say. Take part in the EN Analytics National Poll, a nationwide survey on governance, political leadership, and key national issues shaping Ghana's future. Your voice matters. Your feedback drives data-driven insights for better governance. All you have to do is scan the link on your screen and fill out the questionnaire and tell us what you have on your mind.
This is News360 Live, also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. We're back with more stories after this break. Stay with us.
By Sasso insecticide spray and coil.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Oreku Ampofo. We go live to the Accra Sports Stadium because the Black Stars are currently drawing their final 2026 World Cup qualifying game against Comoros. It's 0-0 in that one. Comoros have so far kept Ghana at arm's length throughout the half, with the Black Stars limited to just half opportunities. However, the best opportunity of the half fell to Comoros, who headed wide off Benjamin Asari's post in the early exchanges of the game. As it stands, the Black Stars on 23 points, and they are in pole position to qualify for a 5th ever World Cup, given that Madagascar themselves, who are Ghana's closest competitors, are also losing at the break. But let's go to the Accra Sports Stadium, where my colleague Billy Shen is stationed and is currently watching the game. Bill, there's been some signs of frustrations from the crowd, 0-0 so far. What does Otto need to change in that second half?
Yes, I think we did see some good signs before the end of the first half. The last 15 minutes, the Black Stars showed more purpose, were quicker with their passing, creating opportunities, getting the set pieces that they've been quite proficient in March 2025. But as you rightly mentioned, the fans have been frustrated because they came here to see goals and the goals are not coming in. I think what the Black Stars can possibly change in the second half is the instructions to play the ball a lot more quicker. I think going with the back three system is doing them some good because Comoros have been threatening on the counter. They've shown that they can have a go at the Black Stars when they get the ball. And so Otuado can't keep that back three, but the instruction should be that the players have to get the ball forward quicker. And if they do get it quicker, to the likes of Jordan, you have shown that he can take the players on. There was an opportunity where he took about 2-3 players on deeply, but the final touch was lacking. And if we see more of these in the second half, maybe the Black Stars will be able to get in the goal and appease the fans, bring the fans happier in the Accra Sports Stadium.
Well, thank you very much, Billy Shan, for joining us live here on the sports segment on News 360. 0-0 between Ghana and Comoros, but it doesn't really mean much and doesn't bear much consequence. As things stand, Ghana will be qualifying for the 2026 World Cup. That's because it would be 10 games for all the teams played, but Ghana will be 4 points ahead of Madagascar, and that's because Madagascar are losing 2-0 to Mali. And so even defeat in this current state would still see the Black Stars progress to the World Cup. Well, let's do some other results because Niger emerged victorious in their final 2026 World Cup qualifier against Zambia, defeating their opponent 1-0 to finish second in Group E. Now, despite not securing an automatic qualification to the Mundial, Niger ensured they beat Zambia on their final day to boost their chances of finishing in a playoff spot. Daniel Sosa emerged as the hero, netting the match winner in the 56th minute, and Morocco went on to secure top spot in Group E with 21 points, earning them one of Africa's 9 automatic slots for the World Cup, set to be staged in the US, Canada, and Mexico next year, with Niger finishing on 15 points. It's going to be a huge battle for the best second place teams. Just 4 would be selected for the playoffs. However, these are the results from the matches played on Sunday. Niger, as I mentioned, beating Zambia by 1-0. Central African Republic needing a late goal to beat Chad by 3-2. Djibouti were victorious against Sierra Leone, and Ghana currently playing against Comoros 0-0 in that one. Egypt also lead Guinea-Bissau, although they've already secured their spot at the next World Cup. Well, you can get some more updates and reactions on the Ghana versus Comoros game on our social media handles at 3SportsGH. Let's do some more here, where in a move aimed at discovering talents for Ghana's youth setup, the 2025 Cartel Under-17 tournament was successfully held in Mamprobi. My colleague Andrew Yusufa Banfo was there and put together this report.
The 2025 Under-15 Boys Cartel Tournament took place this weekend at the Stephen Appiah AstroTurf in Mamprobi. 12 youth teams including All Yankees, Banana Inn, Barcelona Kids, Dansom and Happy Stars, Great Padua, Great Sumas, Golden Cake, Magic Stars, Perseverance, among others, participated in the competition, which is aimed at harnessing and developing talent for national use. A grassroots initiative that has gone on to produce prospects for Ghana's national Under-17 side was concluded much to the delight of owner of Cartel Group of Companies, Henry Owu.
What I saw in the first game, it was really impressive. Anybody who has the means to invest in talent when it comes to football, I mean, the person should go ahead and do it. We definitely go to get some talent for the Under-17 teams.
Impressed by the level of talent on show, organizer of the competition, Prince Asiedu Dankwa, expressed his satisfaction.
We've had so far 2 players from this kind of event joining the national Under-17. One is Ernest Ofori and then Augustine Appiah, all coming from Accra West and coming from the Cartel Foundation. So that I believe that is a good initiative. And then the more we put our resources together and support these young lads, who knows, they might be in Europe in the next season or 2.
As Ghana seeks to make an impact on the global game, youth development remains central to the progress of the nation.
Well, as I mentioned, you can get some update of the Ghana match, which is currently 0-0 between themselves and Comoros. However, that wouldn't matter as they would qualify to the 2026 World Cup as Mali are leading Madagascar by 2-0. And that's how we wrap up the sports segment here on News360. My name is Oreku Ampofo.
This is News 360. There is some unfortunate news coming in, and the Ghana Maritime Authority is confirming a fatal boat accident or disaster that occurred on the Volta Lake near Kitekrachi on Saturday, October 11, 2025, resulting in a devastating loss of lives. They said that the incident occurred at approximately 1:30 p.m. when a small boat carrying passengers reportedly returning from a funeral at Okuma to Bovime, both in the Krachi West district of the Oti region, tragically capsized. Preliminary reports indicate that the boat was grossly overloaded beyond its safe operational capacity. Now, the disaster has tragically claimed 15 lives in total, and tragically, 11 of the deceased were children between the ages of 2 and 14 years. The bodies of 12 of the deceased have been deposited at the Kitekrachi and Warwara Government Hospital mortuaries. So that is what is coming from the Ghana Maritime Authorities. 15 people have died in a boat incident on the lake near Kitekrachi in the Oti region. And that's all for News 360 tonight. If you log on to 3news.com, you'll find more news. There'll be details of that unfortunate boat incident on there as well. My name is Aisha Yakubu Halid. Thank you for joining us.
I am Noble Crosby, and good evening. Bye-bye.